ghost in the mountains. Deep in the forests of Honshu, where cedar and cypress stand like cathedral pillars, the air smells of moss, riverstone, and rain. But there's something else here, a presence. They say if you listen long enough, you might still hear it. A cry that once echoed from peak to peak, the voice of the Okami, Japan's wolf. Before we begin, if you love exploring nature's hidden stories, the mysteries that breathe between myth and memory, join us here at World Nature. Each week we journey into the wild to uncover the secrets still whispering through time. Long ago, before the railways and neon, wolves roamed these lands from Kyushu to Hokkaido. Two species, each born of isolation. The Ezo wolf of the north, large and frostborn, and the Honshu wolf, Canis lupus hodophylax, small, swift, and cunning as the mountain winds. I imagine their world, endless ridges wrapped in mist, the ground alive with the scent of deer, boar, and fern. Wolves moved like spirits here, seen only by the lucky or the cursed. In these mountains, the wolf was never just an animal. It was a guardian, a divine messenger of the mountain gods, protector of travelers, and watchful keeper of balance. Villagers called it Okami, written with the same character as Great God. At night, when travelers crossed lonely passes, they whispered prayers to the escort wolf, the Okuri Okami, a spirit that followed close behind, not to harm, but to guard. Yet, for all its reverence, the wolf's story was also one of betrayal. By the late 1800s, Japan was changing. Forests cleared for farms, hunters rewarded for kills. When rabies swept through the countryside, sick wolves lashed out at livestock and people. Fear spread faster than disease. The Meiji government declared them vermin. Bounties were offered. Poison laced the hills. And one by one, the mountains grew quiet. January 1905. A small village in Nara Prefecture, Higashi Yoshino. A cold morning, a hunter's rifle. They say the wolf that morning was thin, wary, perhaps sick. It padded down a frosty path, drawn toward the scent of chickens. It never made it back to the forest. That wolf's body, preserved in a small shrine, is the last confirmed specimen of the Japanese wolf, the last of its kind.
But endings in nature are rarely clean. In the decades that followed, stories began to stir. Farmers glimpsing shapes darting between trees, hikers hearing howls where none should exist, and sometimes paw prints, too large for a dog, too small for a northern wolf. In 1996, mountaineer Hiroshi Yagi photographed an animal deep in Chichibu's forests. Golden eyes, short legs, a face both familiar and ancient. He swore it was no dog. Scientists disagreed. But when I look at that photo, I feel a shiver, because I know how mountains keep secrets. To understand what was lost, you have to understand what the wolves gave. They were the forest's invisible architects, keeping balance between predator and prey. In their absence, sika deer multiplied beyond control. Their hooves stripped bark from saplings. Their hunger devoured young forests. Boar rooted through rice fields unchecked. Without the wolves, the mountains themselves began to change. Scientists call it a trophic cascade,
When the fall of one predator shakes the entire web of life, the forest becomes quiet, not because there's peace, but because it's out of tune. And so today, in labs and conservation halls, a question echoes. Could wolves one day return to Japan, not as ghosts, but as living guardians again? High in the mountains of Saitama stands Mitsumine Shrine, a sanctuary older than history. At its gates stand 2 stone wolves, moss-covered, watchful, unblinking. Pilgrims come here to pray not for fortune, but for protection. To the Okami, they offer rice, salt, and whispered gratitude, for in their hearts, the wolf never died. Each summer in Yoshino, where the last wolf fell, villagers gather to honor its spirit. Lanterns flicker in the dusk, children recite poems. An elder bows before a small monument carved with a single haiku. I walk with that wolf that is no more. And as the candles glow, the mountains seem to breathe again, as if the spirit of the Okami still listens, still guards, still waits. Sometimes, late at night, I replay the recordings I've captured here. A rustle, a shape between trees, then a sound, not quite a bark, not quite a howl, because legends in Japan say the wolf never truly dies. It simply steps into another realm, the border between this world and the divine. And when storms gather, or travelers lose their way, the Okami walks beside them still, invisible, yet always there. Maybe that's why, when I walk these paths, I feel eyes watching from the fog, not in fear, but in kinship, a reminder that the wild still holds its mysteries, and not all ghosts are gone. The last wolf of Japan may have vanished from sight, but its shadow endures, in shrine stones, in whispered prayers, in the balance of the forest, still waiting for its guardian. And perhaps, in the silence between the trees, the Okami still walks, unseen but eternal. Because in Japan's mountains, where myth and memory intertwine, the wild is never truly lost. If you've enjoyed this journey into the wild, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to World Nature, your window into Earth's hidden beauty. Until next time, keep your eyes open, because in the wild, even the silence has a story.